Well, those of you exhibitors and those around the ringside, we want to welcome you here this afternoon to our Northeast Regional Shropshire Show. Today we're going to be working through 102 head of registered Shropshires from 16 different exhibitors from 8 different states. We have a change in judges here, the second half of our show of week 1 at the Big E, and we want to welcome today as our judge is Mr. Dale Davis from Ohio. He was born and raised in Cardington, Ohio, and Dale himself has a flock of registered South Downs and Hampshires and also a farrowing and finishing hog operation, and they feed out cattle as well. It's a family operation and with grandsons that do row crop as well as have a herd of cattle and a flock of black-faced sheep. Dale buys wool, and he's also been a meat cutter for years and judged a lot of shows back in the Corn Belt area. Let's give Dale Davis and his wife Kathy is here with him. A nice round of applause. Welcome here to our Big E today. This is our first class of rams in the ring. We show the rams and then we'll show the ewes, or the boys first and then the girls, for those of you that are new to watching a sheep show or here to learn about agriculture while you're here today. This is a class of yearling rams. That means they are about a year and a half, approaching 2 years of age. They were born in the winter, most of them last year, February and March born rams in 2017. So they've reached the mature size. This breed of sheep is very well known for its adaptability of raising lambs that produce good red lamb chops, leg of lambs, very efficiently on grass. It's up here in the pastures in New England, and hay as well. They're great hay and grass converters to good red meat. So we'll sit back and let Dale judge. We do have a tradition here. We weigh the first 3 sheep in each of the classes. So in this group, all will be weighed. And then we're going to share that information with you. If you'd like to follow along our show today, we have programs free over here on the bleachers. They've got a yellow cover on them. You can pick one up and follow along our show. It tells the breeding of the animals. It tells where these exhibitors are from. Talk to them after the show if you'd like to learn more.
Well, good afternoon. It's certainly a privilege and an honor to be invited here to evaluate your Shropshire show. I'm starting off probably a little longer-bodied ram in the class. He's really elevated up through his front end. You stand back, I really like him down his top line. Walks around a nice set of feet and legs. We got a buck here in second. Just shortens up a little bit on his side from the buck that wins the class. A really deep-ribbed buck, really thick down his top. I'd just like to maybe blow him up a little bit, blow him apart just a shade, but round the class out with probably the nicer headed sheep in the class. Long-sided, he's nice up to his front end. I'd just like to maybe thicken him up a little bit and change him when he walks about the ring. But 3 really nice bucks. Give these guys a nice round of applause as they exit the ring, please.
here are the results of the yearling ram class. We're going to give you the placings, the exhibitor's name, the weight of the animal, and then for those of you that are following along our show here, we're recording the books, we will read back down the listing from the top of the page down so you can take this information with you. Our class-winning ram in the yearling group was bred by Attica Lockup, and he was Convict 191 from Mandy Curtis. Our winning ram weighed 260. In second place was Brady Clark from Gilmanton, New Hampshire with Clark 17142. He tipped the scales at 298. Our third place ram in the class was bred by Brett Hallett from Sterling, Massachusetts with Hallett Seamus, and he weighed 281. So in the book, it's going to read down 3 with a weight of 281, 2 at 298, and 1 weighing 260. When I was given the information here about the judge, he did point out that they no longer farrow and finish hogs. Back in the Corn Belt, that's almost a non-existent practice on all of our farms. So anyway, as a boy growing up, they had a hog farrowing and finishing operation, which most of us in the Corn Belt growing up had.
really nice set of fall bucks here. We're starting off probably the most fault-free buck in my mind here in the class. He's smooth, he's long, he's really nice on his top line. If I could change his sheep in any way, I'd maybe change him right there in his front end a notch bit. We got a buck here in second. He come in. I thought he was the sheep was probably going to get the class done. You stand back and study him from behind. He's maybe not quite as thick running up his top line as the sheep that wins the class, but a really nice put-together sheep. Our buck here in third falls in there, just not quite as much meat and muscling down through his lower leg as the two sheep ahead of him. If we could thicken him up there a notch bit, we could get him moved on up in class. We come back into another buck, really long-sided sheep. I'd just like to put a little more meat and muscling, maybe change him off them back wheels a little bit. We got two really big frame bucks down here. I really like these sheep. I'd like to put a little more mass to them and a little more muscling to them to get them bumped up any higher today. But a really nice set of bucks. Give these guys a nice round of applause as they exit the ring, please.
We will be picking a senior champion reserve now, and that comes from the first and second place yearling rams or the first and second place fallborn ram lambs. We're going to pick an overall senior and reserve champion ram here of our show. We'll do likewise in the winter and junior ram lamb classes, and then the overall grands will come from those. Here are the four animals that earned the right to be our senior champion ram of the show. Our class winner here in the yearling class went to Attica Lockup. Mandy Curtis exhibiting. Mandy with the first place yearling ram, and Brady Clark with the runner-up yearling. Blake Webster from Maine with the first place fall ram lamb. And Triple J Farm, Larry and Sharon Larimore of Delaware with our runner-up senior ram. In that senior ram lamb class, continuing on down, the first place ram from the Websters that just hopped weighed 220. The runner-up of Triple J weighed 202. Third place was William Weston of New Hampshire with Rife's Cold Snap, and he weighed 206. Our fourth place ram was from Colby Alejandro with Brymat Farm 239. Fifth place went to Blake Webster. And sixth place honors to Joanna Jarez. And reading that page from top down, it will go 1, weighing 220, 2 at 202, 4, 3 with the weight of 206, and 6 and 5.
Give these Shropshire's breeders a nice round of applause here. This senior champion drive. Got 4 bucks out here I really like. I think they're bucks that can go on and help in the Shropshire breed here. I had 2 bucks that, I think kind of really, if I was breeding Shrops, I think I would really like to see them run with a group of ewes in my place. Then that my champion buck, I think, sorts himself the top rather easy. And reserve buck falls in there, it gets pretty tight. But I'll go out and look these sheep one more time and congratulate your champion reserve. Give these guys another round of applause, please.
Our senior champion ram goes to Attica Lockup. And our reserve senior champion ram is the first place fall ram lamb from Blake Webster.
I apologize for taking so long in this Shropshire buck class. You could pretty much flip-flop them about any way you'd like to go out here and make it sound right. The buck I'm starting with, he's thick, he's deep, and I think there is some age differences out here in this buck class. This buck I'm starting with, he's thick, he's deep, he's got bone to him, he looks like a Shrop. You stand behind him and he's thick down his top, and he handles into a really deep loin. Our buck here in second, another really nice buck down his top line, thick and deep. I'd like to maybe change him a little bit in his front end as the buck in front. That's the only thing that kind of got this buck landed in second hole, but a super nice made sheep. Our buck here in third, really thick top sheep. If I could stretch him out maybe a notch bit, we could maybe get him moved on up in class, but a super nice handling sheep. Our buck here in fourth here, I'd like to change him a little bit coming off his tail head. He's probably one of the more elevated up through the front end sheep, or I'd like to just thicken him up just a notch bit there to get him moved on up in class today. We round the class out with a real flashy buck, really clean fronted, jack fronted. He gets a little flat in that front end for me. If we could change him through his twist a little bit, deepen him up a little bit, I think we could get him moved right on up to the top end of this class really easily. But really super nice set of bucks. Give these guys a round of applause.
Here in our January Ram Lamb class, the winner was Addison Nicholson from South Windsor, Connecticut on Sand Meadow Camouflage. 1804. He was sired by City Limits Sabotage and weighed 202. Our second place Ram Lamb was also from Addison Nicholson of South Windsor, Connecticut, with RNA 2338, and he weighed 204. Third place honors went to Triple J Farm on Higgs Club Lambs 1821, and a third place ram weighed 197. Fourth place in the class was Randy and Julie Rife of Yellow Springs, Ohio, with Thunder Mountain, Rife's 051. Fifth place went to Brady Clark of Gilmanton, New Hampshire, on Clark's 1809. Sixth was Rife's Wildcat, that is Rife's 1894. Seventh place was shown by Attica Lockup with Convict 210. Eighth place, Triple J Farm, the Larimores of Delaware, with Triple J 16-4. Our ninth place Ram Lamb was shown by William Weston of Hancock, New Hampshire. And rounding out the class was Kaz Jaraz of Cummington, Massachusetts. And if you're following a book, it will read down as follows. On the first page is 4-5. Scratch the third ram. 1 with a weight at 202. 963 weighing 197. On the next page it is 10, 2 at 204, 8 and 7.
really nice set of bucks. We got a little bit of everything on shapes and sizes out here and difference in heads. Buck I'm starting off with, I really like this sheep. You lay your hands on him and he handles really nice down his top from that 13th rib back. Comes from his hooks back to his pins where it really flat, comes into a big old flat hip to him. Elevation up through the front end, this sheep runs uphill. My sheep here in second, when he rolled in, I thought he was probably going to be the one I was going to use all the way. I really like this sheep. He's tied together really nice. His shoulder ties into that rib really cool. I'm standing behind him. He's thick down his top. I think what winds him in second hole there is if I could stretch this sheep out a notch, and that's where the sheep that wins the class gets him, is he's just a notch bit longer, but a super nice made buck. Our buck here in third, really nice handling buck, cool profiling sheep. Just gives up maybe a notch bit of that overall thickness down his top line as the two sheep ahead of him. We got another couple bucks down here that really like the way these bucks are, the bone work under these sheep. They handle really nice. They maybe just give up a little bit of that overall muscling down their top end to get them moved up any higher today. Like to maybe thicken this buck that rounds the class out there in his twist area just a notch bit. And I think we could get him moved quite a ways up in class. But really nice set of buck lambs. Give these guys a nice round of applause.
Here's the placing in our February Ram Lamb class. The first place lamb was bred and shown by Brady Clark of Gilmanton, New Hampshire on Clark's 18101. He weighed 185 pounds. Our second place Ram Lamb was shown by Oliver Nicholson of South Windsor, Connecticut with Sand Meadow 1815, and he weighed 165. The third place ram in the class was from Brady Clark on Clark's 1868, and he carried a weight of 168. The fourth place ram in the show was from Addison Nicholson with Sand Meadow 1817. Fifth place honors went to Triple J Farm, Larry and Sharon Larimore of Delaware with Triple J 1806. Our sixth place ram lamb was from Attica Lockup with Convict 209. Seventh place was shown by Blake Webster with Webster's 1805, and Britt Howlett from Sterling, Massachusetts rounded out the class with Howlett 404 Ruger. And that class will read from the front page top down: 5'7", 3 weighing 168, 6'2", weighing 165, 4'1" at 185, and on the next page we had 8.
Nice set of buck lambs here. We're just going to start off with probably the most fault-free buck in the class. He's long-sided. He's really clean up through his front end. You stand behind him, he's nice and thick back into his hooks and pins. Our buck here in second, when he come in, I really like the way this sheep's put together. He gets to arching his back there when you put him in motion. Maybe change him a notch a bit there. You know how his neck comes out of his shoulder compared to the buck that wins the class, but a really nice sheep. We got a big old massive buck here in class and here in third. He's got quite a few pounds on the rest of these sheep. I'd just like to stouten him up in his bone work a little bit, maybe clean him up through that brisket area a little bit. We round the class out with a buck that's coming out of the years, definitely probably going to be the largest framed sheep in the class. I'd like to maybe, just put a little more thickness down his top, a little more mass into him. I like big sheep, but I'd like to see some mass in them. But give these guys a nice round of applause as they exit the ring.
Hold your placings in line till Nancy makes sure we get everybody correct and numbered and organized here. Back in that March class, first place went to Attica Lockup with Convict 211. Out of the majors buck, he weighed 142. Second place was Brady Clark with Clark's 18128. He weighed 162. Third was Britt Hallett from Sterling, Massachusetts with Pilot, and he weighed 181. Rounding out the class was Blake Webster from Maine on Webster's 1814. Following in the book, that class would read 2 at 162, 4, 1 at 142, and 3 at 181. Our pair of Ram Lamb class, the winner was Addison Nicholson from Connecticut. Second to Brady Clark. Third place, Triple J Farm. And in fourth, Randy Rife of Ohio. Fifth place, Attica Lockup. Sixth to Blake Webster. Seventh place, Britt Hallett. And our final pair was William Weston. And that class page would read down 5, 2, 7, 1, 4, 3, and 6. The next page is 8. Competing for Junior Champion Ram is Addison Nicholson with the first place January Lamb. The runner-up in that class was also from Addison Nicholson. Our center pair of Ram Lambs first was shown by Brady Clark of New Hampshire. The runner-up in that class was Addison Nicholson. Our March Ram Lamb class winner went to Attica Lockup. Brady Clark with the runner-up.
Here in your buck class, we're not going to talk them. We talked them in class. I think we got 6 bucks out here that represent the breed really well. I think we got 6 bucks out here that can go back to a flock someplace and help improve them in some way, whether it's a little breed type, a little length of side, some bone work, some hip work. I'm going to go out and congratulate your Grand and Reserve Champion Ram. Give these guys a nice round of applause.
Addison Nicholson with our junior champion ram with his first place January ram. Her first place January lamb. Brady Clark with our reserve junior champion ram with his class-winning February ram. We'll get a picture of him, and those of you at the senior champion or reserve senior champion rams, we want you to the ring at this time, please. Recognizing our contestants here for our grand champion ram of the show. We have our senior champion ram was shown by Attica Lockup with her yearling ram winner. Blake Webster, the reserve senior champion with his class-winning fall ram. Addison Nicholson won the junior champion with her January lamb, and Brady Clark took home reserve junior champion honors with the February lamb. The winner of this is going to receive a revolving trophy given in memory of Peter Harris, a well-known and well-respected family of wonderful sheep, raised Tunis and Shropshires for years. We're happy that they are perpetuating that memory with a very nice trophy in honor of his name. Judy, would you be gracious to give us the award? Judy Harris. And grandson Kyle's here too for the presentation.
Here in this champion Shropshire drive, I think we got four really nice made sheep out here. I guess when I'm looking for my champion ram, I want a sheep that's got some length of side to him, some thickness, some bone to him, and certainly look like the breed that they're being showed as. I like to see some big old foot on a buck, big bold eyes, making a stud buck there, but a sheep that I think we can turn out. With the ewes, and he's going to come in. He's still going to be, at the end of breeding season, is going to look great. Anyhow, I'm going to go out and handle these bucks one more time. Congratulate your Grand Reserve Champion ram. Give these exhibitors a round of applause.
Our grand champion ram goes to Attica Lockup from New York with her senior champion and class-winning yearling ram. We're going to have a presentation with Judy, and we want to get Kyle Harris out there as well. We'll get a picture. Let us pick that reserve champion, and then we'll slip over and get a picture here. Addison Nicholson won the reserve grand champion honors with her junior champion ram. Out here on our front lineup, we have Brady Clark. We've got Blake Webster, Addison Nicholson, Brady Clark, and Brady Clark.
Here in our junior show here, got a really nice set of bucks out here. I'm going to go out and congratulate your Grand Reserve Champion Ram. Give these 4-H guys a nice round of applause and FFA members.
Addison Nicholson has our champion ram here of the junior show. Alrighty, Blake Webster with the reserve champion ram here in our junior show with the fall ram lamb. The Northeast Shropshire breeders present this next award for the best headed ram. They'll also do the same for the best headed ewe. Britt Hallett and Chip win the Best Headed Award. Congratulations to Windcrest Shropshires. They've won this award a number of years. We will have 12 head in this class. 12 head in our group 1.
Really nice set of group of yearling ewes from top to bottom. You Shropshire breeders ought to, feel commended of bringing such a really nice set of ewes out here. There's a lot of good sheep over there on the far side. I'm starting off with a yearling ewe that I think works herself to the top rather easy. She's long down her top. She's clean front ended. Handles really good from that 13th rib back. Comes into her hip really nice. Got plenty of wool on her legs. She looks like a Shrop. Are you here in second? Falls right in there. Really nice long-sided female. Maybe gives up a little depth in that back flank as the female wins the class, but a super nice balance-made sheep. Are you here in third? She rolled in. I kind of thought she was going to be the sheep to get the job done there to win the class. You stand behind her and you study her down her top. She's really nice center top. Gives up maybe a little bit there in that twist as the two females ahead of her, but a super nice made female. We got a ewe here in fourth hole. I really like the way this sheep's put together. Same way I'd like to maybe lift her up through her front end a shade bit to get her to run with those ewes ahead of her, and I think we could move her on up. We got a ewe here in fifth. Really nice ewe. She's really stylish. She's flashy. I'd like to put a little more wool down on those legs, and I think we could get this sheep moved on up in class. She's just a little bare for me. On down on the other side over there, we got a set of ewes. Our ewe there in sixth. I think she deserves to be talked about. She handles really super nice down her top. Really clean, really feminine. Just like to maybe give her a little bit more mass. We could get her moved on over in here, but I think by Louisville time they'll have her dialed totally in, and she'll run with them hard down there. But a super nice set of sheep on the far side. Give these guys a nice round of applause.
Here are the results of our Group 1 yearly new class. First place went to Randy and Julie Wright of Yellow Springs, Ohio, with rifes 131. Our class winning yearly new weighed 197 pounds. Attica Lockup placed second with inmate 182. And the runner-up weighed 239. In third place, we had Addison Nicholson from South Windsor, Connecticut on Sand Meadows, 1704. She weighed 210. The fourth place yearling ewe was shown by Attica Lockup, inmate 181. Fifth place honors went to Blake Webster with Webster 1620. The sixth place yearling ewe was shown by Brady Clark from Gilmanton, New Hampshire. Seventh place was Addison Nicholson with City Limits 1710. The eighth place ram in the class, or ewe, was from the Triple J flock, the Larimores, with Fleeners 1732. Ninth place was Blake Webster on Webster 17.2, and in 10th place we had William Weston on Weston's 308. The 11th place yearling ewe in the class then went to Connor Priest with Sand Meadow 1702. And from the top down it goes 11, 3 with a weight of 210, 5, 7, 12, 10, and 6. And on our second page it was 1 at 197, 9, 8, 4, and 2 weighing 239. These are Shropshire yearling ewes. The Shropshire is the breed of sheep that we are showing here this afternoon. If you look up above the announcer's stand, there are a number of different breeds that we'll be showing here, not only this week. We have 2 more days of sheep showing here this week, and then next week we'll turn around and judge about 13 or 14 more breeds of sheep. We'll be doing 2 tomorrow and 2 Tuesday before we select our supreme champions of week 1 here at the Big E. The Shropshire breed was a breed that was established in England. It's fast, known for its fast gaining lambs, and they're great converters of forage and hay to good American lamb that you'll put on your table. Nothing better than American lamb. Our judge today is looking at these sheep walk. He's had an opportunity to put his hands on them and check out how much muscling there is by the indicators down the top of the animals and throughout the rump. The rump area is where the leg of lamb comes from. The back top there is where our loin chops or rack of lamb comes from. So he's also taking into consideration the breed character, which is the appearance and shape of their faces. The Shropshire breed has wool traditionally down the legs and some on the face, and they have a distinct shape about that head. All of the breeds in the barn, if you look at those banners up there, you're going to see a lot of variations. You'll see some with a lot of wool. You'll see sheep with wool all over the head. You'll see some bare-headed sheep. You'll see some sheep with no wool. So we have hair sheep in the barn, and those are sheep without wool, and they are gaining in popularity. The Dorper and the Katahdin breeds, St. Croix, are all hair sheep. Primarily what we have in the barn this week are meat breeds of sheep. And again, their primary function is to produce lamb and to put meat on your table. Most of the breeds coming in next week, their primary purpose is for the production of outstanding fiber that goes into your sweaters and pants and socks.
Now they're super nice made set of yearling ewes. You were going to start off with she's square, she's balanced, handle's really nice down her top. About any angle you look at this sheep, I really like the way she's put together, and I think she's got some breed characteristics to her. Are you here in second? Falls right in there. Maybe change her just a notch bit. The way she comes off her tail head is the ewe that wins the class, but a super nice long-sided ewe. Super nice big old thick hip. Really nice fed of feet and legs. Or if I could change her maybe a notch bit there, we could probably win the class with her pretty easily. We got a ewe here in third that I really like this sheep when you handle her. You just stand behind her and you study her down her top line, and she's super thick and deep. Got a nice big old rib on her. She gives up a little bit in that lower leg as the two females ahead of her. We could get her bumped on up. Now they're ewe here in fourth. Really nice made sheep. Like to maybe put a little more wool on her head and legs, the same as the ewe that rounds out the class. I'd like to put a little more feathers on both these legs. I'd like to maybe raise this ewe up here in the fourth hole up in the front end shade bit, but really nice thick sheep down her top line. Are you there? And we round out the class with a big stout flashy ewe. Gives up a little bit of the bone substance as the female's ahead of her. If I could change her in her bone work, we could get her right up there and maybe second hole pretty easily. But give these guys a nice round of applause. They exit the ring, please.
Our pairs of yearling ewe will be the next order of the afternoon. Shropshire pairs of yearling ewe. There should be 9 entries. Here are the results of your Class 2 yearling ewes. First place went to Randy and Julie Rife of Ohio with a daughter of Bone Chiller. She weighed 199. The second place yearling ewe was shown by Triple J Farm, the Larimores of Delaware, and she weighed 230. Third place was exhibited by Addison Nicholson with Sand Meadow 1710, and she weighed in at 216. Fourth place honors were won by Brady Clark of New Hampshire. Our fifth place Class 2 yearling ewe was the added entry from Blake Webster. Had been moved from another class. The sixth place yearling ewe was shown by Bishop and Bishop Shrops with Darren Mervalt on Rainbow. The seventh place ewe was from Blake Webster of Windham, Maine. Eighth place honors to Britt Hallett from Sterling, Massachusetts. Ninth place was from also the Britt Hallett flock. Our 10th place yearling ewe was exhibited by Jonah Jarez with Emily Washburn's breeding. The 11th place ewe was Britt Hallett. 12th place honors were won by William Weston of Hancock, New Hampshire. In 12th, we had William Weston, and 13th also from William Weston. 14th honors were won by Seth Healy of Shelburne, Massachusetts. Our pair of yearling ewe class was won by Randy and Julia Rife of Ohio. Second went to Addison Nicholson. The third place pair to Attica Lockup, Mandy Curtis. In fourth was Triple J Farm, and fifth place went to Brady Clark. Sixth place was exhibited by Blake Webster. Seventh from the Britt Hallett flock. Our eighth place ewe was from William Webster, and wrapping up the class was Connor Priest. And in that pair of yearling ewe class, if you're following in the book, it will read 3, 5, 7, 2, 9, 1, and 4. And on the next page, 6 and 8. We've been asked to read down group 2 again. The book will show on page 12, or the first page of group 2 yearling ewes. It reads 3, weighing 216, 13, 12, 11, 10, 4, and 9. Our second page of those ewes was 2, weighing 230, 14, 1 weighing 199, 8, 7, 6, and we added 5, which is the Blake Webster yearling ewe.
really nice group of fall ewe lambs. I think this ewe lamb we're starting off with sorts her top to the self rather easily. She's long-sided, really cool up through her front end, comes back into a really nice hip. Got plenty of bone work under this female for me. Our ewe lamb here in second, long-sided, really nice thick top sheep. Maybe gives up a little of that coming off her hip back, or from her pins back, I'm sorry. Is the female that wins the class, but a super nice balanced, good bone sheep. Are you here in third? A really fun, stylish sheep. I really like this sheep up through her front end. I'd like to see lighten her up in her color a little bit, put some wool on those legs, and we could get her moved on up in class. I think she's going to be a big old female coming out of the year. Are you here in fourth hole? Really nice made sheep. She's just giving up a little that thickness back through from her hips back. There's the three females to get her ahead of her. If we could get her, maybe stouten her up in her bone work a little bit, we could get her moved on up. We round the class out with a pair of nice females here. They're just giving up a little that overall stature. There's the females ahead of them to get them moved on up. Like to maybe lengthen them from side to side, but they got plenty of wool on their heads and legs. They look like Shrops. Give these guys a really nice round of applause. They exit the ring, please.
We have our ewes lined up here for our senior champion prize, our class-winning fall ewe lamb. We want to recognize them first. The ewe that the judge is handling was exhibited by Callie Taylor with O'Neill 1707, and she's named Stacy. Our class winner weighed 172. The runner-up in that group was from Triple J Farms with Rife's 1818. And that was from the Larimore family. She weighed 183. Third place honors went to Blake Webster with Webster 1721 on a ewe that weighed 201. The fourth place fall ewe lamb was shown by William Weston. Fifth place was exhibited by Colby Alejandro, and also sixth place from the Colby Alejandro flock. And that was a pair of twin ewe lambs to each other. So following in the book, it will read down 4, 5, 6. 2 weighing 183, 3 weighing 201, and your class winner at 172 pounds. Our first place Group 1 yearling ewe was bred by Randy and Julia Rife. The second place across the ring was Adikalaka. Randy and Julia Rife with the first place Group 2 yearling ewe, and the Larimore family, the runner-up in our Group 2 class.
We got 6 females out here that represent the breed really well. 6 females that, in my mind, could go on to, a national show or, and be competitive, stand up on the top end all day long. I got 6 females out here that I think, we could, get when they turn the bucks in, they're going to lay down, have a nice lamb and milk, and when they're done, they wean those lambs still looking decent, flesh and condition. I'm going to go out and congratulate your Grand Reserve champion. Give these guys a round of applause.
Callie Taylor with the Senior Champion U. Randy and Julia Rife with the Reserve Senior Champion U on her Class 1 yearling.
really nice set of females out here in this drive or this class. Starting off the big old deep-sided sheep, good-footed, good boned, balanced, long. Handles really nice from that 13th rib back, comes into her hip really nice. Are you there in second? Falls right in there. Maybe as you're studying her down her top, she's maybe not just a notch bit, not as thick as the sheep that wins the class, but a sheep that you really got to appreciate for the balance and the bone work under this sheep. We're coming back here in the third hole. A really nice made sheep. I'd like to maybe change her a notch there. Way she comes in there around her tail head. She shortens up from that, from her hooks back to her pins as the two females ahead of her. But a really nice sheep, good footed, good balanced. Are you here in fourth? Maybe a little smaller package, but you got to appreciate her for her balancedness, her thickness. I'd like to maybe she opens up a notch bit on top of her shoulder when you put this sheep in motion. We round the class out with a really long-sided female. A sheep that you stand behind her just doesn't quite have that muscling down through her twist as the females ahead of her, but I think coming out of you're a sheep that's going to be the larger statued one in the class. I'd like to maybe put a notch more bone work under this sheep, but a really nice set of sheep. Over there on the far side, we got a set of ewe lambs I think are going to go on and grow and be a massive big old set of yearling ewes coming out of their year. Give these guys a nice round of applause. They exit the ring, please. Really nice set of ewe lambs out here in this class from top to bottom. There's really not a sheep you'd be shamed to own. We're starting with a ewe lamb. It is obviously the largest statured female in the class. She's not there because she's big. She's there because she's long-sided. She runs uphill. She's elevated up through her front end, and she's clean up through her front end. Comes back from that 13th rib back, really long loin. Comes back into her hip really deep and flat. It's got a good set of feet and legs on her, and she looks like a Shrop. Are you here in second? Falls right in there. Maybe shortens up from flank to flank a notch bit from the female that wins the class, but a sheep that it's got a lot of grow in them. Those of you guys that know me, I like a sheep that's got some grow to them. I guess I've never been a big fan of the little shorter down-fronted sheep. I like a sheep that runs uphill, length of side to them. We got a ewe lamb here in third that I really like the way this sheep's put together. She's long, she's thick, she's deep, and she's good up through her front end. She just isn't quite as elevated or as long-sided, maybe is not a notch higher at the shoulder than if we could raise her a little bit. I think we could win the class really easy with this ewe lamb. We got a sheep here in fourth that if I could stretch this sheep out from flank to flank, she's really flashy. I really like this sheep. If I could lengthen her on her side, I'm pretty certain we could get her up there in about second hole really easy. We round the class out with a really nice sheep, long-sided. I'd like to maybe change her angularity a little bit, get her running uphill a little bit when you put her in motion, but a super nice female. All these guys over there on that side's got a really nice group of ewe lambs. Give these guys, Shropshire breeders, a nice round of applause for bringing a cool set of sheep to town.
Okay, well, we're lining this class of February ewe lamb Group 2 up. We're going to share the results here of that January ewe lamb class. And those following along, our first place honors was right at the top of the page. Randy and Julie Rife won with a caboose daughter on Rife's 60. She weighed in at 170 pounds. Our second place ewe lamb was bred by Brady Clark with Clark's 1808, and she weighed 150. Third place honors were given to Addison Nicholson of Sand Meadow from Connecticut, and she weighed 164. In fourth place was Brady Clark of New Hampshire, and 5th place was Larry and Sharon Larimore, Triple J Farm. 6th place was Addison Nicholson. 7th place honors went to Blake Webster. Our 8th place lamb also to Blake Webster, and 9th was an entry from Connor Priest. 10th place honors went to the Larimore family, followed in 11th by Oliver Nicholson with Sand Meadow 1808. 12th, rounding out the class, was exhibited by Attica Lockup with Inmate 201. And reading that from the top down, it will go 1, weighing 170, 4, 9, 2 with a weight of 150, 8, 7, and 3 weighing 164. 10 on the next page then is 10, 6, 5, 12, and 11. And while we're sharing results, we're going to roll right into that Group 1 February ewe lamb class we just finished with. And our first place ewe lamb was from the Blake Webster flock, and she weighed 171. Our second place ewe lamb in class, also from Blake Webster, weighed 140. And those were both out of Triple J, 144. The third place ewe lamb in class was bred by Brady Clark of New Hampshire, and she tipped the scales at 156. In fourth was Randy and Julia Rife of Ohio. 5th place was exhibited by the Larimores with Clark 1869. Attica Lockup placed 6th on Inmate 204, and 7th was Brady Clark. Our 8th place ewe lamb was shown by Bishop and Bishop Shropshire with Fritz 1813, and 9th place was shown by William Weston of Hancock, New Hampshire. Rounding out the class was Seth Healy from Shelburne, Massachusetts with 111. Healy's 111, and on the first page, if we read down, we'll give you these placings. It will begin with 9, 1 at 171, 2 weighing 140, 8, 7, 5, and 6. And our next page, we end up with 3 weighing 156, 10, and 4. Good job, Chris.
Another really interesting class of Shropshire ewe lambs. Ewe lamb I'm starting out with, in my mind, is the most fault-free. She's square, she's balanced. You put her in motion, she stays together. Travels around the ring real free and easy. Are you here in second? By a little larger statured female, maybe a little thicker down her top line than the sheep that wins the class, but you put her in motion and she doesn't just quite stay together quite as well as the sheep that wins the class. We got a ewe lamb in her third here. She likes to roach her top a shade bit when you put her in motion. Maybe if I could lengthen her from flank to flank, we could get her on up in class. You got to really appreciate this sheep when you lay your hands on her, the thickness from her top line back down into her hip. She's really, really thick down through there. Are you here in fourth hole? Just kind of gives up as you study her down her top, maybe a notch bit of that thickness as the females we got ahead of her, but a really flashy made sheep and a compliment her for the breed characteristics, the wool she has on her. We round the class out with a little ewe lamb that's really balanced and square. I'd just like to blow her apart a little bit, lengthen her out, and maybe make her a notch higher at the shoulder there to get her bumped up any higher. But a really nice class of Shropshire ewe lambs. Give these guys a nice round of applause, please.
Well, we're lining up your March ewe lambs here. We've got some of you fight folks might remember this. We're going to go back 10 years ago, which will be 2008. We're going to see if you can help us remember some of the folks that did some of the winning. And we'll give you a benchmark point was, the show was judged by Kent Spildy. Kent Spildy from Wisconsin, judged in 2008. And we have some members out and about here in the barn. We want to know who had the champion ram and the reserve, and the champion reserve ewes if we can, and who had reserve ewe also was premier exhibitor and breeder that year. Also, we want to see if we can figure out who won the best headed Shropshire that year. 2008. John Cross was one of the names we were looking for. Ryan, do you know what he did? Reserve ram. John Cross had reserve ram. Do you know who had reserve ewe? Won the breeder and exhibitor that year. Ryan Webster. Do you remember Ryan Webster? Okay, we need to know who had the champion ram and who might have be a participant here. They won the best headed Shrop that year as well. They were two different animals. Our best headed ram and our champion ram. It was not Mandy Swartz, but it was a young lady. Britt says, was it me? Yep. Britt Hallett won Best Headed Shrop earlier today on the ram side, and she won the overall Best Headed award 10 years ago. They've always paid particular attention to that deserving award. Now the young lady that won champion ram is not here. Emily Washburn. We got that right from Becky Peterson. Emily Washburn, interestingly, with her first place slick sheared ram lamb.
Now they're really nice class of ewe lambs here. Ewe lamb we're starting off with. She's square, she's thick, she's deep. Handle's really nice back her. Down her top line comes back with a really nice hip to her. Our ewe we got here in second, probably the smallest sheep in the class. She's a sheep I think coming out of the year is probably going to be close to maybe one of the larger framed females out here. I try to look in the future on these sheep a little bit, and I know it's a big gamble, but I think she's got a little fire left in her. And she certainly looks like a Shrop should. She handles really nice down her top, and she's going to be flashy. She's really clean front-ended. I think she's going to have a bright future ahead of her. Are you here in third? There's probably a lot of guys seeing him back going, well, what's he doing? I like a sheep with some, it's clean front and some elevation. I really like this sheep. If we could put a little more lower leg down through her twist, she would win the class really easily. Are you here in fourth? Another little flashy ewe lamb. I'd like to maybe lighten her color up a little bit, but there's a lot of them that I'd like to do that to out here. She's just maybe gives up a notch bit of that thickness down her top line as the sheep ahead of her, but a really cool sheep to look at, and I think she's got a bright future ahead of her. We round the class out with, a big stout made ewe lamb down here. I think this sheep's going to be pretty cool to look at coming out of the year too. I'd like to maybe clean her up just a notch bit through her front end, but as the female's ahead of her, but a super nice made designed ewe lamb. The ewe lambs on the other side, I think they've got a nice future to them too. Give these guys a nice round of applause as they exit the ring, please.
In our March ewe lamb class, first place went to Brady Clark from New Hampshire with a lamb that weighed 144. Our second place ewe lamb was bred by Blake Webster with Webster's 1818. She weighed 140. In third place was William Weston of New Hampshire with a lamb that weighed 140. The fourth place lamb in the show was from Attica Lockup with inmate 205. In fifth, fifth place went to Attica Lockup. Sixth place honors Mm-hmm. 4, 5. Okay, we got a little change in that now. Glad we found it officially. Brady Clark still won the class. Second place went to Blake Webster. Or second place went to Mandy Curtis with Attica Lockup. Third was shown by William Weston, and fourth place went to Attica Lockup. Our fifth place pair was from Blake Webster, sixth to Colby Clark, seventh to Brett Hallett, and eighth also to Brett Hallett. And following along in the book, it would be 3, 6, 7, one weighing 144, 8, 4, 5, and 2 is on the next page. 2 weighed 100. 3 weighed 140. Our pair of ewe-lamb class was won by Randy and Julia Reif of Ohio. Second went to Addison Nicholson. Third was shown by Brady Clark, and our fourth place pair of ewe-lambs went to Triple J Farm. Fifth was an entry from Blake Webster, and in sixth place we had Attica Lockup. Our seventh place pair were shown by Oliver Nicholson. Eighth place honors to William Weston. Ninth to Colby Alejandro, and rounding out the class was Britt Hallett. And reading that from top down, it goes 9, 6, 3, 10, 2, 7, 1. And on page 2, 4, 5, and 8. Competing here for our junior champion ewe owners, we have the first place January ewe lamb was bred and shown by Randy and Julia Reif of Ohio. The second place lamb in that class was from Brady Clark. Our Group 1 February ewe lamb class winner went to Blake Webster. He also placed second in that same class. Our Group 2 February class winner, first was Randy and Julia Reif, and second in that class was Oliver Nicholson. And once again, Brady Clark won the March ewe lamb class, and Attica Lockup placed second.
Here in my champion drive, I got a set of females that I'm very proud of them to be up here. I really like the way they're all put together. I think they all got a good set of feet and legs. If you guys didn't make it out here in the champion drive, don't mean that you don't have a whale of a nice set of sheep. I prefer a sheep that I guess the Shropshire breed is still considered a frame sheep deal, and until they start calling it a weather deal, I'm going to kind of go with the sheep with some grow to it, some elevation through the front end. Anyhow, I'm going to go out and congratulate my champion in reserve and give these guys a nice round of applause.
Our junior champion U goes to Blake Webster and Randy Rife with the reserve junior champion U. Competing for our champion U here, we have Callie Taylor with the senior champion and Randy Rife, reserve senior. Blake Webster with our junior champion U and Randy Rife with the reserve. The winner of the Grand Champion U Award is going to win the Volshing Trophy, or the Debbie D'Ambra Trophy. That will go to the Supreme Shropshire, so the winner of this will come back and compete for the Supreme Award. The Volshing Trophy is what is going to the Champion U in this class. And that trophy is given in memory of Alfred Litz, a noted Shropshire breeder out east. And that trophy still is ongoing.
Here in our champion Shropshire U drive, got 4 females out here that I feel represent the breed really, really well. They're good-footed. They're got some bone to them. They got some rib shape. They got some depth of rib to them. All 4 of these, I think, would classify rather easy if they, wanted to do the classifying deal, the point deal. I think they all look like Shropshires. I got a couple females that, it really hit me very hard, really hard in class. I'm going to go out and congratulate your Grand Reserve Champion, Shropshire U here, and give these guys a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to Callie Taylor, who won the Grand Champion Shropshire U, and to Blake Webster for winning Reserve Grand Champion honors. Folks, those are also junior lambs, so we will not need a junior show champion U selection. They were both right here in the ring. Blake Webster won the Best Headed U Award. Here's the placings in our exhibitors flock. First place honors went to Randy and Julia Rife. The second place group were shown by Addison Nicholson. In third was Brady Clark. Fourth place honors to Attica Lockup. The fifth place group was shown by Blake Webster. Sixth place to Triple J Farm. Our seventh place group were won by William Weston and Brett Howlett, rounded out the class. Our next competition will be the breeders' flock, and if you have any changes you need to make in the first 5 groups, do so now. If not, we'll all stay the same. Our Get of Sire class was won by Addison Nicholson, and second place was Attikalaka. In third place, we had a Get of Sire from Brady Clark, followed by Blake Webster, William Weston, and Britt Hallett. Hold your placings till we get your scores recorded. Folks, we do want to get pictures of these champions and reserves while you're right up here. As soon as we're done here with our show, and as soon as we're done with picking our Supreme Champion, Shropshire. Those of you exhibitors that won traveling trophies, if you can bring them back to Deb, we'll get them engraved for you. The winner of our Supreme Champion Shropshire is kind of the culmination here of our day. It's the best ram in the barn against the top Shropshire ewe, and it's the Volsheen Trophy, the Deambra Trophy. Debbie Deambra was from a noted family of Shropshire breeders. She was tragically lost in an auto accident, and this trophy has been given for years.
I don't know if that was the first. That was
Yeah, went to the ewe. Our grand champion ewe goes to Callie Taylor. And we want to get pictures with the judge, both you and Mandy. We need a representative of the Brady Clark flock and also the Randy and Julia Rife flocks. Over here to the announcer's table, please. Okay, we have representing Julia and Randy Rife. Catherine, we're going to present you the Premier Breeder Award and also the revolving plaque in memory of Joe Laveri for the first place exhibitors flock to the Randy Rife flock from Ohio. Let's give them a nice round of applause. And to Brady Clark, who is our premier exhibitor here of the Shropshire Show. Congratulations, Brady. Let's give him also a nice round of applause on a job well done.